Welcome back to The Watch. And we are live, so we do need that good old sound check to make sure things are working.
We're doing it live.
And I've just realized I haven't put filters on so that the noise won't be reduced. So you guys keep talking and I'll make you sound even better.
Right, okay.
Well, I take down half the set. It's chaotic.
Doing great. It's a great start.
Right, okay. So, how are you doing today, Shad? You weren't feeling well yesterday?
No, I was feeling crap yesterday, and today I'm feeling dead tired because I've been up since 4 a.m., so I'm doing great.
So, send in those super chats, make him feel better today. Nathan, we good?
Never mind. I actually did do my job right and it was all okay. I just
double checking. But before we begin, guys, your support makes this stuff possible. We have channel memberships now. With we can see some of the members in the chat already. Check out the audio's good.
Hello
and
all.
look at that castle badge for the members there.
Yeah, people are noticing my new Gambison. Yeah,
Yes.
I think this is wait, is this? Maybe I don't know if I've streamed in it yet, but this is my new Gambison. I made this one myself, put on the leather myself. Shot a couple of videos in it now.
Looks very, very smart.
Yeah, it's a bit tight around the neck, but it means I don't have to shave under here as often, so it's all good.
But yes, memberships, and then Patreon, it gives you flexibility to what you want to contribute, and then independent alternatives, which is Subscribestar and Utreon. Thank you to all our supporters. You guys make this stuff happen. We appreciate yous. And so nightly news once again.
Also, shout out to Shake for gifting 5 memberships.
Dude,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and when you become a member or you start, supporting us on those platforms, you get behind-the-scenes content. We finished up the cut for the other video coming out next Friday, and we got the behind-the-scenes for it, and it's. How would you describe it? It's
Some of the best stuff behind the scenes so far. Just 5 minutes of me fixing the lens.
like it's
If you want to say close up Nathan, and support us.
funny stuff. All the stuff we take out.
There are
of
other
it.
funny things too, like when Nate hits a bottle and then you weren't there to see it, and so he's just sad because he finally did something well, and then you weren't there to congratulate him because Tyranth gives Nate a hard time.
Well, he likes that positive reinforcement, so I
You break him down instead. Anyway, that's university stuff.
So, local news, guys. What's been happening locally? The weather has been a bit on and off.
Yeah. All the days we filmed this week were bad, and then it was really good for the rest of the week. So.
I mentioned that I was up at 4 a.m. because what I try and usually do for Friday Night Tights, because now the double daylight savings switchover has pushed us 2 hours apart in opposite directions.
It's brutal.
And so I need to get up at 5:30 in the morning to catch it. And I have trouble getting to sleep as is. And so last night I tried to drug myself up and tried to get to bed at 10, and I have the most restless sleeps ever when I try and go to sleep when I'm not tired. And I was up at 4 a.m. not able to get back to sleep. But that should mean that I'm dead tired by like 10 at night tonight, which should make me all good for FNT tomorrow. That's the plan anyway.
I love the daylight savings. By the time we get home, it's pitch black. It's just darkness.
I drive into the sun, quite literally, my eyes. There's a reason I wear glasses. This time of year the transitional period is not fun.
Well, even what we're transitioning to is not good.
Because you all get summer now on the other side of the world. You'll have your, summer holidays in July. We go into a dark, depressive winter.
Yeah.
But our winters aren't that bad in comparison. I kind of like winter in Australia.
I'm glad it doesn't snow. If it snowed, then it would be much worse.
I don't know. That seems fun. The amount of things we can do in snow.
Well, I grew up in the mountains and we got snow once a year on average, which was fun enough.
That was very rare.
Yeah, snow is rare in Australia unless you live higher up in the mountains. So as a result, winter I actually quite like. It's got the nicer weather. Summer sucks balls because it's Australia.
Yeah.
But that's the trade, I guess. Other local news. I've been having fun continuing the development of my sci-fi space opera, name pending.
Whoa,
yeah.
That's a bit different.
I've always been on the fence about it.
Now
You definitely doubled down, I think.
I have doubled tripled down to see how well I can make it sit. So I'm always been open to rebranding it, and I've always you could look back. I said, it's a temporary name. We'll still with it. Are you doing it?
I'm doing, because we did it on Shadiversity earlier this week. I want to see what Night's Watch crew, the comparison difference between, because we did a stream on Shadiversity earlier this week, and it was at 51% for All-Star, the name.
Yeah.
And so I want to see if you lot are the same people or different.
There's other names that I'm open to, like I guess Omnistar isn't terrible, and I wouldn't mind actually having Star something to catch the same kind of resonance of the classic sci-fis like Star Wars, Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, and so. But even if not, it's cool to have Star in the title. But
the Star's not the problem.
No,
I know. The Star's
I think everyone
fine.
agrees. So Star is awesome.
People have always said, like, this has been a consistent suggestion: is spell the all AUL, All Star like that. It's not a terrible idea.
No, but I think because the main issue I find is with word of mouth, with someone who isn't.
Yeah, word of mouth and searchability is the thing that does to kind of tip me over. And because searchability is important for
and when you say
franchise
All-Star,
titles.
people are going to spell it ALL.
This is true. So I already had fun showing on Shadiversity the
fashion.
fashion.
The fashion.
Yeah, the fashion.
If you know what we're talking about, check out that live stream. You get to see some great fashion.
Yes.
Spaceships. I've been having fun, and it's only a tip of the iceberg because spaceships are important. Needs to have heaps of spaceships. I'm probably going to be hiring a artist who can just pump out heaps because I want hundreds, if not thousands, of spaceships designed because that's one of the great things about Star Wars, just diversity of spaceships. But I do want logic behind these groups of ships are from this manufacturer, this is from this faction and things. And I already have like a set that I've made myself that's a good starter where it has factional ships, hero ships and stuff like that. And one that I had a lot of fun designing was something that comes from a role-playing setting that I did.
Yeah.
And it's a ship called the Rogue Star. I redesigned the Rogue Star, and it's going to be appearing in All-Star as a result. And I'll probably show the designs off on the next Shadiversity live stream.
Will you? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's all right. We'll cut that down to just a couple so we can blast through that.
But they're cool. They're fun.
If you want to,
I'm not the best, but
if you want to do a dedicated All-Star stream, we can do that. Just not an hour long.
When it gets closer into development, I'll be doing like a lot of development streams for All Star. And what's the poll at the moment? So this one's a bit more no, I see.
Yeah, 56%.
No. Okay.
But the comments, people are saying they like AUL Star, but then the same thing always comes up with like it sounds like a sport team, the All Star. It's tricky. It's tricky.
But that's local news for us because we actually have lots of regular pop culture news to get to. There's lots of things happening. And so what's the first topic that you want to kick us off
I think we should go with Dunkin' Egg.
Dunkin' Egg. I saw the chat. Someone asked, what the hell is Dunkin' Egg? Dunkin' Egg,
Is the hench,
my friend.
Yeah.
The Hedge Knight. So I have a bit of a connection with this. One, it's like my favorite graphic novel of all time, and I've had it displayed on the thing a while. And because I had these on display, the artist of this graphic novel contacted me, and we have been working ever since.
Yeah.
Mike S. Miller is the artist for the Dunkin' Egg graphic novel. If you're wondering what this is a Game of Thrones property.
Just because your head can't see you.
Okay. This is a Game of Thrones property. It's technically a prequel series that he wrote it, and I think it was a short story, if not, I can't remember exactly. But this is the graphic novel adaptation of that short story, or just prequel story. And Mike worked directly with George in developing this, and which is pretty cool. And I've had the pleasure to work with Mike, and we're currently making...
Mike's in the chat.
Mike, good to see you, man. So Mike is pretty excited to see Dunkin' Egg because the characters in it are Dunkin' Egg.
Yeah.
That's their kind of shorter names. Full names is Duncan and Aegon, and it's such a great. In terms of fantasy knight tale, this is like one of the best. It's phenomenal. The graphic novel is absolutely amazing. Mike's artwork is phenomenal in it. Hence why it's been so great to work with him on the Shadow the Conqueror graphic novel.
Yes. Has the Kickstarter ended?
So the Kickstarter has ended now.
Right. Yeah.
And we're still pursuing, getting that printing underway. But Mike is already well over halfway done on Volume 2, and Volume 2 is just looking bonkers good.
So hello, Lit Dev.
Hey, Literature Devil. Good stuff, good stuff. So there's been basically confirmation that the Dunk and Egg prequel Game of Thrones TV series is happening.
Would you like to take us away, Nathan? What have we got?
We also already explained what Dunk and Egg basically is. So the first part of the article I got here is basically that. But Martin himself will be writing on the show.
That's a good sign.
As well as executive producers who also did House of the Dragon. Am I saying that right?
Hang on, repeat that part. I wasn't listening.
Gosh, no one's paying attention to me. The recent prequel they did.
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
House of the Dragon, yeah.
Producers on that also got working on this one as well.
All right, this is good. See, House of the Dragon is like one of the few good TV shows that were released recently.
Some of the producers are not.
But they've left.
The showrunner that was spouting all the, woke junk, which the show was not woke, but they were trying to put it through a very progressive lens, saying it means this and that when it doesn't mean that if you just watch it, on its merits. He's not on House of the Dragon anymore. He's left.
Right, okay.
And so the showrunner that was working closer with Martin is staying on with House of the Dragon, so that's good signs for season 2 House of the Dragon. And if they have this creative team doing Dunk and Egg.
But if it's just producers, then it's a bit different.
It is. You don't know the full, but...
Just say producers.
Yeah.
Executive producer.
And writer alongside Dragon producer. Okay.
House of Dragon.
And Dragon showrunner.
Mm-hmm. So there's reason to be a bit more excited for this. Usually I'm always like, don't adapt it. You're going to ruin it. Mate, I could be, eating crow. If I could be completely wrong. But because if they do Dunk and Egg bad, we'll be...
It gives me hope because if they're going to do this, I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to do an Aegon's Conquest at some point, and I am. Let's just say I'll be fanboy for that. I'll be pumped. You ruin that, and
yeah. So tell you what, do it dirty. I will be upset. Do it good. Oh boy, you'll have my gratitude because it is such a great nightly tale.
I still despise season 8. I can never forget.
I completely.
We never forget
that. Yet House of the Dragon was just so good.
It was good.
It's really, really good.
And the next season should be a banger. So,
just hints. I haven't read the book that it's based on, so I don't want spoilers or anything, but you already can know where it's going. You see hints dropped here and there of what's going to happen, and I expect lots of dragon fighting.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spoil it.
Let us not forget at how much House of the Dragon just took a steaming dump over Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Smaller budget, looked better, was a better show overall.
Even the superfan from Rings of Power was like, I'm currently loving House of the Dragon.
It's like, I'm not... She got taken to the superfan Rings of Power thing, and then when she hadn't even watched it, she was all into House of Dragon.
I love that. That was something special.
Oh.
Is there anything else for the Dunk and Egg show?
That
Just basically announced it.
So out of all of the things they've pitched, this is the one going into pre-production now. So everything else is kind of not happening yet. This one has been underway now.
There's great stuff. So there are some really great things in Dunk and Egg. And one thing that I'm kind of excited about, so in House of the Dragon, the just medieval... And it's odd that medieval accuracy, even though it's not a historical period, right? It's clearly medieval fantasy, but the accuracy to so many medieval visual elements was done so well. They had livery, jupons, tabards and stuff over top of metal armor, and then they had the actual, crests and everything displayed. The tournament scenes were really fun and everything. And so that is one of the things that makes this one so well, because Mike did such a good job making it look distinctly medieval, especially with the colors and the ways that the knights.
I didn't ask you. He's doing the inking right now. Yeah, is he doing coloring? Is coloring being done for the graphic novels?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Of course, we're gonna have colors, but we're not up to doing colors yet. So, Mike is doing pencils and inks all together, and he said he's like, I saw it in the chat. I think it's like up to page 87 or something now, that's already bigger than the first volume. So volume 2 is of this. Now talking about Shadow of the Conqueror graphic novel is going to be over 120 pages, and some of the real meaty story stuff is happening in this volume, and it's and. It is more sexy, this one, because things happen if you've read the book. So exciting stuff, and awesome to now see one of my favorite properties not only be made into a show, but hopefully being done well. And, HBO seems to be one of the few places that's making...
We've got other news topics coming up next.
Well, let's get to that then. That seems like a segue.
So basically, they've announced their new streaming platform, Max. And with that, a whole bunch of new TV show, movie franchises, including a reboot of Harry Potter, but as a TV series.
I'm all on board for that.
Well, just wait a minute.
Okay, what information is there?
Did you want to...
Or do you have information?
Was it the quotes how, like, they don't want it to be linked to the big... big corporate...
So they said we're not a giant, undifferentiated blob of programming.
What are they referencing there?
That's HBO saying that.
HBO saying that.
And they're basically, in this article, I can't find the quotes exactly, but they're basically trying to separate themselves from the other big guys. They're not Disney, they're not Netflix.
We're not like the other brands.
We're not like other big media corporations that just make junk for junk. But we're going to do a prequel or another spin-off for a Big Bang Theory. We're going to do Harry Potter. We're going to do everything for everyone. 100 new TV shows. But we're not like the other guys.
So, I again, maybe my faith is misplaced. HBO does seem to be the only ones making half decent things. Doesn't guarantee it'll be good. I'm saying we should be skeptical still.
Wasn't Velma HBO?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
See,
and I know that people are divided on Last of Us. I checked out of it. I was done.
Season 2's coming. It's coming.
I know.
And people won't be divided anymore.
Yeah, that's true. But they made House of the Dragon. Like, we could get House of the Dragon treatment, care, talent. Like the writing in House of the Dragon was... Well, I guess it had George on it, so do we credit him instead of just HBO? Because the writing in House of the Dragon was really good.
The difference between things like that is that it's already finished. The story's done.
Yeah.
So you know where it goes.
I've heard that
Game of Thrones, it wasn't finished, and it's still not finished.
I heard Rowling is involved with this reboot
TV show. Yeah,
TV show.
It's funny.
That's not a good thing, though.
Well, right.
This article, you can tell what side they live on here. Where they say Harry Potter, meanwhile, will bring controversial author J.K. Rowling's beloved 7-book series to a new audience.
Sorry, I laugh at it. I was like, she's so controversial. She agrees with nearly every single woke narrative except one thing. That one thing is enough to make her excommunicado, worst person on the world. You're committing genocide on people, you horrible person. Like, it's insane.
Have either you?
And her take is just so milk toast normal. Women are women. It's just like,
Neither of you have seen The Cursed Child, the play, or do you know about the story?
I have seen reviews on it, and that it is top-tier dog crap.
Yes, it is worse than fan service in terms of story. Like, I saw it live. It was awesome to see theatre live, but holy crap, that show was...
And who was in charge of that?
J.K. Rowling wrote that.
Exactly. So
she did that.
I don't know why you're thinking, oh, she's in charge of it, it's going to be good.
Ever since the end of the movie and the last book, everything she's kind of written and made has been very subpar. Like the Secrets of Dumbledore, whatever. Fantastic Beasts. That's been.
You're absolutely right. You're right. I can't deny this. Yeah, because the whole Fantastic Beasts thing was just such incredible dog crap. And she was involved heavily with those.
Yeah. Well, I think with the movies, she gave somewhat oversight with stuff, but I feel like Fantastic Beasts, she wrote the scripts for those.
Yeah, I wonder how much involvement she'll have now, and also I wonder what elements they're gonna redo and what elements they'll keep the same. Because I mean, technically, did Warner Brothers made Harry Potter, and they own HBO anyway.
Yeah.
And so they can. Are they going to be using the same Hogwarts classic?
These are wonderful questions that I hope we.
The Hogwarts.
Because I feel like there are book fans and then there are movie fans. And a lot of this reboot is going to be dependent on the movie fans just as much as the book.
See, I get the feeling that they're going to try and make, because they can do a TV series, they're going to do all the plot of. You would be so stupid not to do this. So, but I shouldn't say they're going to do this because you cannot rely on. But if they were smart, they would have all the content and story from the books fully in the show because you got the time now.
I don't understand why we need it. There's like 7 movies. Like, why? Why?
From what I understand, they want to do each book as a season.
Yeah, but just do more story. We just got Hogwarts Legacy, and that was great.
The movies aren't perfect.
There's plenty of stories to tell. Just tell some other stories. You don't need to.
Well, she tried doing that with Dumbledore.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just if you're going to make a series set in the Harry Potter world, that's fine. Do that. It doesn't have to be Harry Potter. You've got 7 movies. That's a lot of movies.
So, in terms of back in the day when adaptations were better than they are now, fans of the original source material like to see as much of the source material adapted as possible. And so having a TV series with a huge budget, I'm interested, and I think, okay, you might be able to do something good, but you guys bring up some very valid red flags to not necessarily be confident.
Is there 8 movies? Is it 8 movies?
Because they made 2 parts, remember?
Oh,
There's
right.
7 books, but 8 movies.
Okay, so 8 movies, Shad. 8 movies.
So, yeah, I guess this one we'll have to wait and see then.
Because I also don't know, are they going to recast people in certain
thing, 'cause
roles?
I have a feeling
I don't know if Professor McGonagall will make it through to the end.
Rowling is so progressive, right? She will want to race change core characters. She did it with Hermione in A Cursed Child.
Yeah.
So Hermione's going to be changed. I bet.
We never said what colour skin she had. Except for like in most of the books we did.
I haven't, because forgive me, I'm not that big of a Harry Potter fan, but like, what happens in The Cursed Child? Is it?
No, in the stage performances, like I've seen multiple times, the actress playing Hermione,
they go out of their way to make her diverse.
Right, but the story's just not good as well.
I've heard the story is dog crap.
It's about. Do you want me to give you a summary?
Yeah.
It's about
spoilers. Even though, why would you care? It's a crack.
It's about Harry's son Severus and then Malfoy's son, whatever his name is, and they go back in timey-wimey stuff. Honestly, I can't remember much of it. There was this really weird, like, do they like each other, these 2 guys? They don't actually... They call it queer baiting or something weird like that. I'll watch reviews afterwards.
Hang on, how old are they in the thing?
They're like... First, second year, like they're like pretty. I think at time
isn't that like
it skips.
10 or 12 or something?
Yeah,
12,
but like they go
13.
older. They're like 4th years, I think, by the time that stuff happens. Anyways, stuff goes down. Turns out Bellatrix and Voldemort were a thing, and they had a daughter, and then she uses them to manipulate them to go back in time to then save Voldemort and all this other stuff. And there's alternate reality where like Snape, like it's very fan servicey, and I actually couldn't tell you the plot because I forgot half of it. But Harry's a jerk. He's a terrible father. He's like,
Doesn't
Severus,
surprise me.
I hate you. I wish you weren't my son. Even though I named you after like the 2 most important people. Like there's this whole scene where Harry just like says he's a really bad dad. And Hermione's a know-it-all and Ron's just a doofus stay-at-home dad. The effects are cool, but...
And that was written by Rowling.
Yeah, it
right.
was written by her. So
Wow.
it was...
Well, okay.
So give me a better summary than what I remember because it was.
Alrighty.
So, yeah, okay, then, yeah, there are things to be concerned about it. That'll be interesting to see how it progresses. And
Because if
comes
they
out.
make that canon, somehow, I don't know,
Well, so it's not canon, even though she wrote it.
people don't accept it.
Is that even technically possible?
That's the author, I think, at that point. If it's no one accepts what you've written.
Alright, okay.
Well, Rowling likes to go back to try and change things to be more progressive and stuff. I mean, Dumbledore was never gay in the books, but after the fact, yes, he is, because I'm so progressive. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Wow.
Let us know what you guys think. What's the next topic to discuss? There's the Harry Potter thing.
Well, then they also, with that, announced a Batman spin-off for the Penguin.
The prequel, right?
Yeah,
and
the
it's going to
prequel.
go... you said it's going to go all the way up to the Batman.
TV series about the Penguin rising to power, and then it goes to the movie, and then it goes after.
They do that in Gotham.
Yeah, but they're doing it now with the Batman.
I remember I watched Gotham.
Yeah, me too.
That's a special show.
For the first season, I thought they did Penguin pretty good.
Yes.
Like, he's a character that hasn't usually been done very well. But holy crap, a prequel movie just for the Penguin does not interest me. Penguin has never been nearly as interesting as the Joker. But I guess because they thought, Joker, we got a prequel movie for this villain, we'll do a prequel movie for another villain.
And then it's going to lead into the next Batman, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the next?
Yeah, so one of the seasons are going to be pre-Batman, and then the next season's going to be post-Batman.
It's a TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show.
Like, give us Batman!
They don't want to give you the characters you actually want.
They're making another movie for Batman, but they want to fill in the gap between then.
But do remember that Batman movie is not connected to
DCU.
It's not connected to DCU.
It's completely separate. But we can't have any...
Which is going to have its own Batman. So, we just have all these Batmans, all these different Jokers.
DC is such a mess. And they were trying to say they're going to, reboot everything, get everything back on track. And one of the first films that they're doing...
I call shit. How'd that go, Nathan?
I don't know, chat. You tell us. How did that go?
We're testing things today.
Yeah, one of the first movies they're going to do is The Authority. And I like The Authority. It is one of those more edgy, progressive ones where we got to have the representation, but I found it engaging enough, and it does not fit with Superman and Batman. Like, The Authority needs to be in its own self-contained universe because they literally have characters that are parody kind of edgy things of Batman and Superman. Except they're in a gay relationship in it.
I've completely forgotten the schedule. That's how little I care about what's coming out for DC. I forgot.
Blue Beetle!
Yeah, I know Blue Beetle's coming because we've seen the trailer for that, but that's about it.
Ah, yes, the Blue Beetle. Have we covered that on?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
we did.
was the last stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, they're just...
So, just in... I have a feeling Blue Beetle is going to do like Shazam numbers.
Oh, I think it'll do worse.
You reckon it'll do worse?
Yeah, Shazam is like actually a character
That people know you're right. Yeah, so even worse. Wow.
Blue Beetle is very low down.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I like the actor from Cobra Kai, and Cobra Kai is great, but I don't know if that's going to sell the movie.
No, and then they take it steaming dumb on Batman in the trailer, which has just ticked off heaps of people and say, doing great, DC. You're on fire.
Was there anything else for the...
But yeah, this whole thing, they've announced Duncan Egg, Harry Potter, what else were we just talking about?
The Big Bang Theory.
They want to do more Big Bang.
I like the Big Bang Theory.
I'm divided. Like, it's funny. I've found Big Bang Theory very, very funny, except it really did help perpetuate this negative stereotype of nerds that people have seemed to... I'm surprised took way more seriously than I thought, the show implied.
I agree, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nerd and I don't care. And what? I feel like it's good background TV, and, if I want to sit down and watch some just genuinely feel good stuff that I don't have to worry about, I enjoy it.
Yeah, when they say prequel, are they meaning like Sheldon prequel? They already have a prequel.
Yeah, they've got that. I think it was a spin-off. So I think we want to do one with Penny, Leonard, and their kids and stuff.
Well, that sounds nothing like... What?
Because the main guy who plays Sheldon doesn't want to do anymore. He's like done with it. Where
Good on him.
Where the other actors are probably just like, yeah, I can do another paycheck.
Because they can't get work, probably.
They shouldn't need it. They're
not going to be able to have a good show without Sheldon. It's going to bother like...
That was like,
you need the cameos.
Sheldon was a great character, even though he was
it was a
caricature.
And apparently by the end season, he was getting like $1 million an episode.
Yeah, like it was like Friends money that was starting to get into territory. It was huge.
But Young Sheldon, have either of you watched Young Sheldon?
My wife has watched a couple of episodes. I have only seen peripheral things. It looks horrible.
Okay.
Just not something that interests me.
I've watched it.
You've watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And what are your thoughts?
So some seasons are really good, and especially when you know Big Bang lore with, it's funny because in Big Bang, it's like Sheldon's like, oh, my dad was a jerk and mum was always there for me. But like in the show, his dad is actually such a good character. There are arcs where he gives up because he's a coach for football, he gives up college jobs, different states, lots of money because he wants his family to stay in Texas to have like a good environment and whatever, and there's like really good arcs. But it sucks because you know in the end stuff's gonna happen because it happened in Big Bang. And so right now I don't like it because you're watching all these characters in this like great time in their life, and you're like, well, it's not gonna end well.
Huh.
So
See, for me, what I saw, it looked like such a tonal whiplash to the Big Bang, and the character did not feel like Sheldon at all.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's younger. He's a bit different. And I think there's an issue with prequels. I think sometimes you're making something new, but also before something. And so I think like Star Wars, right? It's funny how the prequel trilogy looks a lot more high tech than the original trilogy because it's a mix of like, but it was before the time of this, but then also we're progressing in our time. So stuff like that, I think, happens a lot with prequels.
Well, the Penguin, so it's a movie, is it? Or a
TV
TV
show?
show. Wow, that I'm so not interested in that. But hey, look, maybe it'll be great.
Penguin and
Not likely in the current climate. The only thing I'm excited for with all these announcements is Duncan Egg.
It just says spin off the Penguin.
Yeah.
So it might be a movie.
I don't know. But it's just funny because we're getting another streaming service. Another one.
Hang on,
So
I thought
wait,
HBO was.
Yeah.
They're getting a new.
So it's
they're
HBO, and then you're going to have Max. So they've just split HBO Max into HBO. Is that what they've done?
Is it?
I don't know.
I thought they announced...
We don't get HBO in Australia. The streaming platform that has the HBO properties is called Binge here in Australia. I don't know, but Binge has Alone, you know, the reality TV show, survival show Alone.
No.
Friggin' awesome. I love it. Alone is such a fun show.
I don't know.
my gosh.
You would love it. It's
Alright
like
with?
full-blown epic survival where they have to film themselves. They have no contact and like they're only allowed to bring with them 10 items.
Right.
And yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, they're just rebranding. Okay. It's just so confusing when you've got HBO Max transforms into Max and then Max is...
But that sounds worse. Why would you want it to be Max?
Max!
Hey, Max, you want to go watch
Because
the Max?
everyone's doing Plus and they want to be different.
They want to be bigger.
Like
bigger than Plus will be Max.
HBO's fine. Like, why does it have to be HBO?
And I think you get more
Because
recognition from that.
HBO in America is an actual like free-to-air network thing.
Cable?
Okay, oh, it might be on cable, yeah. But it is like, you know, the old model where you had to turn on the TV at the right time to catch the broadcast shows.
The dark times.
The dark times, yeah. I grew up through those dark times.
I would say we're living in the dark times too, though, because at
Do you
least
know,
like...
I like Power Rangers was released at 4 o'clock. And I got home at 4:30, and I would always only catch the last 5 to 10 minutes, and it would break my heart.
Yeah, look, we grew up in that era too. I remember waking up an extra hour early to watch cartoons in the morning because, you know, otherwise I couldn't watch them.
Yeah. At my great grandmother's house, we had Cartoon Network, shared cable.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah.
You lucky
Yeah.
fella.
I would spend days just watching Cartoon Network, and late at night you would get things like Space Ghost, and you get like the Boomerang.
Cartoon Network used to be way cooler than what it became, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
In the 90s, it had some of the old school classic Hanna-Barbera action shows, like, I don't know, Goltar and the Golden Lance. And then there was there was one where I don't know, it was mainly made to sell action figures, but they had these packs that shot out these like energy things that became straps that they would ride on. Right. But there was like heaps of cool old school cartoons on Cartoon Network when it first came
world
out.
building, huh? Yeah.
Great classic stuff.
Where do you think he gets it from?
Yeah. All right. What's our next topic?
Well,
What have we got?
last one I have here is about Arcane Season 2. Because everyone's been asking, where's Season 2? We loved Season 1.
Season 1 was phenomenal.
Season 1 was fantastic.
I don't watch it.
What?
Dude, it's good.
I'm not going to say it's bad. I just
I know,
haven't watched it
but
'cause,
just like if you're in the mood and you have time and you want to watch a great show, but if Arcane is amazing.
if something doesn't pull me in, then I just don't watch it. That's just how that works.
This should pull you in, though.
Why? Well, what am I supposed to be feeling about it?
Just turn it on and give it a look.
it's
It'll pull
just-
you in as you watch it.
Give it... Oh, man, now I feel like I'm telling you to watch a K-drama. Give it 3 episodes.
Seriously, is it episode 3 or 4?
It's
3.
I'm pretty sure it's 3. When
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
by episode 3, if you're not hooked, I
you
will
think it's a
question
regular
your
show,
taste and everything.
then stuff goes down, and then there's a time jump, and then you're like, ho-ho!
Yeah, serious. Episode 3 is amazing.
I'll watch it in my non-existent span.
So season 2 isn't coming out.
For a while.
Look,
So-
they took ages to make season 1, so I'm not surprised actually.
Yeah. So recently there was he was in China for some reason. One of the I think there was like a League of Legends thing, and they asked him what's up with season 2, and he said he just watched the 3rd episode of season 2, and so they're making progress on it, but it's not ready, and there's 2 reasons for that. He said, one, you want the quality, and we don't want to rush it, so that takes time, which is I think very good. When they say we're not going to rush it, when you watch, you're going to enjoy it. I'm happy for that. But he said the bad reason is that honestly, we didn't know if season 1 was going to be a success. Mm-hmm. So we didn't start season 2 until afterwards, where had they known, they would have just trailed off that.
This is the type of thing where I take your time. I'm happy. Like, take as long as you need to make it as good as you can, especially like season 1. I would rather it be late than it be bad.
Yes.
Okay. And so I just they did such a good job with season 1. I trust them. Do what you need to do.
And so it's not coming out this year, but I'm assuming maybe next year. Maybe.
Like I said, I'm happy to wait. So we should mention 2 topics. Now, there's more dedicated videos that we're going to be going into. Star Wars related information and the Marvels.
Yes.
You know?
Right. Okay. You want to start with Marvels?
The Marvels.
Yeah, you want to start.
I've seen the trailer.
I haven't. I have better things to do with my time.
It's going to bomb real bad, this show. Like it. 2 of the main characters in this are based off of TV shows that very few people watched.
Right. So it's got Captain Marvel. It's got Monica Rambeau.
And
Wonder
she gets her powers by walking through a magic wall in WandaVision.
Yeah. And then the third one is Miss Marvel. Now, Miss Marvel apparently was good. Like, I heard good things about it.
It was the least bad thing that they made, and so we were far more complimentary on Miss Marvel than any other show we reviewed, but we checked out because it's like the show is so not made for comic book audiences. This has been the problem with the Miss Marvel character from the beginning, okay? Yeah. They have been desperate, and we don't want to play this too long because we do get copyright pinged on the trailers now and then, so we'll have to pause it.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't have
I turned the sound off, so it's just in the background.
But even just the thing, it was Barbie. The Barbie trailer, they
pinged us.
They pinged us for the Barbie trailer, you bastards. So, Miss Marvel, right? You can really tell from this trailer that they're wanting to do the same Spider-Man effect. You know, Spider-Man Civil War, where it's like reacting to the superheroes, like, you got a metal arm, that's so cool. Yeah. They're trying to do that with her, dialed up to 11 in a really irritating way with a character that no one likes.
Right.
So, wow, is this going to bomb? And the thing about Miss Marvel, right? People wanted to make Miss Marvel a really big, fun, popular character from the very beginning. Even her inception, she was going to be the diverse,
she was in
Marvel character.
The game, the Marvel,
the
game.
Avengers game.
And people did not like that.
Exactly,
either.
And they tried to say when they were making her the central character for that, like, she's the most popular Marvel character. No, she is not. And the thing that I've always confused about this, right? You gave her stretchy powers. Did you ask any superhero fan ever what they actually think about stretchy powers? It's one of the most lame powers ever. And I'm not trying to make fun of Mr. Fantastic here. Mr. Fantastic is a great character, not because of his powers.
Or Mrs. Incredible.
Yes. And if you want to, check me on this, okay? Everyone has had those conversations. If you could have any superpower, what would you have? Have you ever had anyone say stretchy powers?
Yeah, but they were the weird kid in class. They were the
So someone did say that to you?
Someone did say
it. Okay, well.
And they also thought that they would have eyes in their hands and another weird. I was like, that doesn't count as stretchy powers then.
And it's clearly a very low on the list of, it is not a cool power, okay? And so superheroes that have it, they need to be sold and have coolness for other things but Spider-Man has it all. It's got this wicked power, wicked suit, and all these great elements to it. And then they have Miss Marvel with, now instead of stretchy powers, it's like object powers in the shape of her hands. She makes it like light energy constructs.
Right. So they're basically just making all 3 of these characters have the same sort of thing.
No, Monica Rambeau, they tried to explain what her powers are, and it's really interesting. She's, I have light manipulation powers, but then she goes translucent. It's like, that's not light manipulation.
What I mean is they all have flashy colored lights that they emit from their body.
Yeah, but I would not consider that being the qualifying similarity between powers.
But when I try and differentiate between characters, then they all do the
world building that they have here,
like when I look at Spider-Man and Captain America, they do different things and they look different. When I look at these three characters, they all sort of have magical rainbow lights that they do. Like, same sort of thing, right?
Magical rainbow powers. So one of the unfortunate things about this is the actress that plays Miss Marvel is charming as anything. And she was the best part of the show. She could actually hold a show. I don't think I haven't seen, the movie's not out. The trailer has her going way over the board to the point where it's insufferable. But if they have the charm that she had from the episodes I saw of Miss Marvel, she'll probably be the most enjoyable thing in the movie, even in a bad movie. Yeah. But this has been the biggest problem with Miss Marvel, even though they nailed the right actress and her delivery was great and the writing wasn't complete dog crap, it was uninteresting. Right. And her arc was so unsatisfying, even from what I saw, where she, and I mentioned this, you can go check out our Miss Marvel reviews, where my early criticisms, and it proved true through the later episodes, was that she doesn't go, it's not a superhero show. She doesn't go through a superhero arc to, when I say earn the powers, prove herself worthy of the powers. Right. She's a fangirl who wants to be Captain Marvel, gets powers, wants to do it for fame and glory. And it's just like, you come off as vain and selfish.
Well, the thing is, Captain Marvel will be the the A-list star of this film, which is not a good leg to stand on. We spoke about it the other day. Like, when she was put into, Endgame, people were very like, is she going to ruin Endgame? Mm-hmm. And luckily, she didn't.
The sign that Marvel actually knows, and if you want confirmation that she is a massively unpopular character, is that this was supposed to be Captain Marvel 2. Yeah. And they made it like, she's just not carrying the film, and so they made it, the Marvels, because Captain Marvel has so much baggage and dislike over not only the character, but also Brie Larson, and she's not a liked actress
at all.
Deeply
unpleasant.
Massively so.
For no reason, though. It was just like, everybody's sitting there doing their thing. She's like, well, I don't like you people. Like, it's just why? Why are you attacking people?
I don't need some white guy telling me about my movie or something like that. And then that attitude seemed to be in, because the Captain Marvel character, she's a villain. Yeah. She's destroying property. She's stealing people's property as well. She's an absolute jerk. And usually, like some of them, if you think about some of the most heroic moments, right? The standards of heroism is when the hero shows mercy on the villain and tries to give them opportunity to redeem themselves. And you see this like with Goku in Dragon Ball Z all the time, and then he gets betrayed because the evil guy's evil anyway. But that's kind of like the true standard of heroism, like where they are beyond almost, the normal human inclinations of being able to be forgiving and all that stuff. Captain Marvel, she's like just cheap shots and just like, her opportunity to have that moment, she goes the villain route.
Well, do remember that when Captain Marvel, the first one came out, it was wedged between two of the most popular films in the last decade. So it's like, now when there's nothing and MCU has been going downhill for a while, now when it's on its own legs and it has to perform well without being wedged between something, I'm very, very curious to see the box office numbers.
And even then, when Captain Marvel's coming out, you saw all those photos of supposed sold-out cinemas, and there was no one in there. I would not have put it past Disney to pad out the numbers and buy tickets for the movie, because again, if Captain Marvel did poorly, that could have had negative effects on Endgame, and they would not risk that. And so if there was any movie that they would artificially inflate, Captain Marvel would be easily one of those ones.
I don't think so. I think they could have put literally anything in between those two movies, and it would have done crazy numbers. It could have been anything.
I don't know. It could have done so much better if it was a good movie.
That's true, but that's probably why they chose the one that they thought would do the worst if it was on its own. Like, let's just put this one here so we know it would 100% do well.
So this is the type of movie where I'm excited for because of the dumpster fire. I was like, because they have put it off. They've delayed the release again and again, and test screenings have been that this movie is awful. And oh boy, this is going to be a fun one.
Are you excited, Nathan?
No. I like went through the trailer you guys saw. I was like kind of pressing through, and every scene I was like, this looks really bad. Like, there's just a part where Captain Marvel's just going, "Ah!" And everyone is like, whoa. There's like
She's
rooms
such a
just
mature,
empty, like
likable person.
Is that? Oh, so we've got Star Wars.
There's lots of Star Wars information. So you guys have a dedicated video on that.
we did
Yeah.
uploaded a video last night if you guys want to check that out after the stream. But oh boy, they didn't do damage control. That's for sure. They doubled down.
Ray movie and everything is just like.
Should I get up the Acolyte thing?
No.
Okay.
No. Shad knows what we're talking about. Oh, maybe you don't. It was on FNT. It might have been before.
We covered some of it on FNT.
the patriarchy stuff during the Acolyte.
So, yeah, and I actually commented on it, like the stupid actors saying Star Wars is very patriarchal, and when I was like, "What are you smoking?" Star Wars had multiple female leaders. Like we've got Princess Leia, we got Queen Amidala, we got
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, but also the leader of the rebellion. Oh, she's a high leader in the rebellion. What's her name?
Oh,
Many Bothans died.
yeah,
Mon
yeah.
Mothma, yeah.
Mon Mothma, like patriarchal, like Naboo is literally a matriarchal society. What the hell? It's stupid idiot. Like, tell us you haven't watched Star Wars and know anything about Star Wars without telling us you know anything about Star Wars. You don't know anything. Because holy crap, like they were so disconnected.
The showrunner or writer, whoever, when they announced it, she had some tweets that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't you know that about the Acolyte one?
Did they disappear afterwards? Was that those tweets or
I
different
don't
ones?
know.
Oh, is this the one where the person was like really aggressive and said bad things about groups of people?
No, it was more feminist, like full on, that sort of stuff. And then when you have them come out with this, it's patriarch. I don't know why you would think that.
Did you not see the sequels?
I just don't
was all
understand sitting in that crowd at the celebrations, and the first thing you're showing people about your show is this. It's like, and it's on the YouTube, like the Star Wars YouTube. It's like,
Did you get
this immediately makes me go, I don't care anymore. Like whatever you've got, I don't care.
Did you get see the quote from that one of the actors again being interviewed where he says, "In Star Wars, there's not really any good and evil."
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that is.
Like when I heard that on FNT, I flipped out. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Very cool themes of Star Wars is about good and evil. It's the lifeline and dark side of the Force. It's built into the friggin' universe, and this person has the unbelievable ability to say that. Like you know nothing about this. Oh,
So that's the Acolyte.
Oh, that comment gets me though, because that is like for me the theme of Star Wars
Yes.
is good and evil, light and dark, and someone saying, "Nah." It's like, what is it about then? What is it about?
what's about our political conflict and the injustices?
Good and evil. Well, it's a bad government and the good rebels.
It's like when people say that, Star Wars is about lightsabers and Jedi, and so it's like, yes, that's what it's about since the beginning. Like, there's a reason why when Andor came out, people were like, well, this doesn't feel very Star Wars because we've got none of the core Star Wars elements in it. It's exactly what people say.
And it's about good and evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Jedi and Sith. They are the the good and evil part.
Like it's amazing, and for me, it almost reflects the idea that Hollywood and these people are morally bankrupt. We see again and again where they actually start to promote in shows and just in normal conversation, legitimately evil philosophy as good. Like, think about Rings of Power, where the underlining philosophy was you need to embrace the evil to be able to do good. And that's like, what the hell? And that philosophy comes up multiple times in Rings of Power and is confirmed in the confrontation between Galadriel and Halbrand, where she says, like, she is the reason Sauron becomes evil, because she's encouraging him to embrace the and they're trying to portray it though as a good thing, and that Galadriel is in the right. It's insane. It's utter insane. And these people are morally bankrupt because perhaps they're evil. And when evil people are making things, well, they don't really know what good and evil is anyway. And so they're lies because... Yeah, have you ever heard the line, the smartest thing the devil ever did was convince the world he didn't exist? If you really want to get people to do evil things, is not to tell them evil is good, it's get them to believe evil doesn't exist.
It's all from a point of view. Yeah.
Exactly. And so this guy, there's no real good and evil in Star Wars. Like, gee, I wonder...
All right, Satan. Yeah. Now I know. You just proven yourself. All right.
See, the thing is, I used to not be so hard. Like, when we would hear that people who were starring in Star Wars or whatever, they weren't fans of Star Wars, I used to be like, oh, well, that's fine. Not everybody can be a fan. But as of late, every single show that we've gotten where we know for certain someone says, like, oh, I wasn't a fan before, it's been not good. Like, it just hasn't been good.
Also, no one's a fan. You'd think if they're doing something properties, you'd have at least one fan do stuff. But like everyone's always like, oh, I wasn't that big of a fan. I'm just working on this anyway. It's like Star Wars is such a big property, and yet you can't hire a single fan to make something for you.
Well, and you also see the disdain they have for true Star Wars. Like, look at how they really feel about Luke. You think Kathleen Kennedy likes Luke? It's like they hate the original characters. They went out of their way to assassinate them, make them look like washed up losers. They made Han Solo a deadbeat dad who abandoned his family, and Luke this loser that's drinking titty milk. Right? You know, it was disgusting what they did with these beloved characters that actually had an important role in inspiring and shaping boys, you know, up, like peoples, you know, as they grow up.
Moral relativism is a pathway to many abilities that some consider unnatural.
Well said. Well said.
But then we also have other things like Ahsoka, the trailers and stuff for that. Now, my thoughts on this are complicated because I love Ahsoka. I'm sick of seeing Ahsoka because Dave Filoni
Do you
puts her in
like
everything.
live action Ahsoka?
So far, there's been nothing that has been against what she has been in everything else.
But I see so little personality. She's a plank of wood, live action Ahsoka.
But we've only gotten, like, she hasn't got her own story yet, which is kind of the problem.
I'm not interested.
She's been jamming her in everything else.
Every time we've seen her, she's just been so stiff and boring.
She was a bit like that in Rebels. Now, that brings me to the point, is that the live-action Ahsoka series just looks like Rebels live action.
Does it?
Yeah.
But it's after the Empire.
Yeah. Now, look, if you like Rebels, that's great. It's actually not a bad show. It's actually one of the best things that Disney's done. But I personally, it's not something that I care that much about. You right there, Nathan?
I'm so mad that people should die. Okay, I'm sorry to say this in Star Wars. Like, Episode 3, I was like, sorry, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, in terms of the Star Wars story, like, they're keeping everyone alive through all these events.
And then they created time travel just to save Ahsoka.
Yeah, like Episode 3 of Star Wars, the movies, was so good because you knew at the end the Empire was going to rise.
Yeah.
The rebel,
and
people died.
There were consequences for what happened.
Where now it's like you watch Rebels and you're like, oh, they're going to die at the end of the season because obviously the Empire's going to come and wipe them out.
They
all survived through the original trilogy and then come back for the sequels.
This is the problem with prequels. And I like prequels if they're done well.
That's not a prequel problem. That's just a Disney.
But
we have Clone Wars. We had Clone Squadron 99.
Yeah.
There's entire arcs where you get attached to these clones. They all have their independent. They all die. Yeah, every single last one. I think only one who survives is in the Bad Batch. The one because he got captured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's consequences. People are dying. You're getting entire arcs where people.
And
die.
I like that in the Clone Wars. Like I like that guy, and then gets shot. And as a kid, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
War. Like it's life's there and then it's not.
You know, I find that funny. Like all the Jedi wiped out. Except for him and
now we're making a news story. So now there's another one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another person with a lightsaber is like, well, there are a lot of Jedi survived. Why didn't you just all go together and assassinate? Well, I know there are some arcs where there was a group of Jedi that tried to take out Vader and then he wiped them all out, and that was pretty badass.
Oh, I think that's EU now.
That's EU now, exactly. Yeah. And so
it's always EU, the good stuff, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, the Vader comics are fire. The ones that Disney's done. Mm-hmm. If you've read them,
I haven't.
Vader is a beast, and that's why I hate Kenobi so much because they
undid
what they did themselves in the comic books.
It seems like a lot of like the comic books that get made attached to these reboots and other things like that, are made by people who are a lot smarter and care about the property a lot more, because they end up trying to explain all the plot holes and crap of the films, and the comic books are there to repair the damage. Oh my gosh. But Star Wars is just, it's going great. I mean, like, you know, this is one of the things that enthuses me with my
your one, yeah.
you know, space opera sci-fi, because we need something good. And this
now that I've seen the trailer for Ahsoka, I think it'll do well. I think it'll actually do really well, because we're not the favorite of Rebels. But
I completely agree. Like, when you look at Star Celebrations, there are people who are like, yes, people for these properties. Like, there were videos about like the Kenobi TV show. Everyone's like, oh, it was so good. You know, we're a little Leia here, and Ewan McGregor's back, and it was all fantastic. And I'm watching this going, you all liked this show?
Yeah.
You all okay with this?
Well, this is what...
So they're going to be okay with Ahsoka as well.
I am so worried what happened with Kenobi is going to happen with The Mandalorian, where the entire show is and then the last 2 episodes are still terrible, but there's something in them. You get to see Anakin, and you get to see the emotional tug at your heartstrings. And then everybody goes, oh, this is fantastic. And it's like,
they all forget what happened previously.
See, when you say the show will be popular, I have a feeling it might have been before Kenobi. I think so many people have checked out now from Star Wars.
I don't think so.
Like
I know we all hated Kenobi, but there are people in my life who say it wasn't that bad.
Mandalorian at the moment is dying.
Well, wait. We'll get on to Mandalorian. Just before we go there, I want to, with Ahsoka, because there's a lot, it started with Clone Wars, and there's countless Clone Wars fans, and then you have Rebels fans. I think a lot of people will tune in for the Ahsoka show just to see, and I think it won't be the worst thing in the world, and will be good enough for most people. So I think it'll do really well. Higher than the Mandalorian debut, like the season 3.
Really? See, I don't know.
Season 3, yeah, but...
We can move on to Mandalorian now if you want.
Because, look, I haven't seen the most recent episode. It dropped today for me, so I'll be watching that today, but I have watched the last one.
He's watched
I watched it.
More Bo-Katan show?
Nathan liked it. He said it was good.
Like she was very front and center for the last few ones. This one, she kind of takes a back seat, but then at the end, it like switches again.
Really?
It's very bait and switch.
They've kind of confirmed it, I thought, haven't they? They want to make it...
The Mandalorian can be anyone.
Exactly. So you know what they're doing. Now, my thoughts on this is that Din Djarin doesn't have a personality anyway, so you're not losing much of a character. The issue that you will lose is the relationship and bond that he developed with Grogu, because you know they're not going to get rid of Grogu. And so if you get rid of Din Djarin, like, what about him and Grogu? They're like, you know, father and son, essentially. What do you do? What are you going to try and do about that? And so they might actually kill him off.
Yeah. It's funny because so when we did the video, I thought we had 2 episodes left. Then last night I realized we've only got 1 left.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait,
one
what?
episode left.
Yeah.
I thought we had 3. You said 3 yesterday.
I thought we had more because we're finally getting to a point of the story.
Okay.
But now I've realized they've used it all up on Coruscant talking about the Empire.
This season 3 of Mandalorian has been such a wet fart where so little happens and it doesn't have a story and they don't know where to go with it, and they're just...
Like, you can watch episode 1 and 2 and then 7 and 8.
Yes.
That's it. Everything else between has been utter garbage.
So I liked some stuff in it. There's a lot that I like, especially if you know like a lot of the lore and a lot of stuff, Clone Wars stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there for you. But in terms of like the actual story cohesion, how it just switches up and focuses on people it shouldn't, is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then when what is it, episode 3, Nathan? Episode 3 and 5?
No, 3 and 6. Also 7.
Those...
The Coruscant one, the 50-minute one, and the Jack Black Lizzo one.
What are you doing? Why are they in there? It's ridiculous.
The story structure of these episodes is such astounding dog crap. It's so dumb.
Like, the only thing I care about in one of them was what? We had the Separatist battle droids, and we got Count Dooku name drop.
A name drop was enough for him to get excited.
Yeah, but the whole thing is terrible. I hate that whole episode. It's just those 2 things. I'm like, yes, I like what you just did.
The story of the episode's also really dumb.
The story is terrible.
Why are they malfunctioning? Well, because I made them malfunction. All right, you're arrested.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All righty. lots of things to keep track on. We'll be doing it because that's what we do. We stay on watch. But what we're going to do, we'll get to the super chats now.
One episode left.
Yeah.
Yeah, one episode.
I thought it was 2 because it feels like there needs to be 2 more.
Right.
But on an aside, Picard season 3 is still lots of fun.
Yes.
Still really good.
I didn't think that would have changed.
and-
It's the last time I
and-
was very proud.
Me and my wife, we've been getting the kids into Star Trek. We've been watching The Next Generation with them. They've been loving it. It's like, there is so much good shows that's already made that you don't need this modern crap. It's like, we're trying to get our kids to watch less streaming and YouTube and stuff. It's like, nah, we're watching Star Trek. Good, classic, great stuff with good themes and morals and ethics and all that, all the, yeah. And the kids love it. It's a good show. They get into it. They get invested. And we also watched, so we showed them some of the original series, and then we've gone through the first 4 OG Kirk films.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Star Wars is better, but anyway. Better
Well,
than Star Trek.
Not currently.
currently, unfortunately,
Actually, it's so much-
Currently. Whoa. Hold it.
in terms of the Picard, season 3, not season 1, 2, season 3 is better than any Star Wars thing made recently.
Mandalorian season 1 and 2 are fire. I love them.
You can love them.
Yeah, you can
Season
love
2 is dog crap.
You can love Picard season 3.
Alrighty, let's get to some super chats.
All right, the first one is from Moldib for 5 USD. Shad, they announced a Dunk and Egg show. I am so freaking hyped. I can't wait to see the Trial of 7.
I'm excited too. Trial of 7, yeah, Trial of 7 happens in the first one. Just great night stuff. Like, they need to cast Dunk right. So he's called Sir Duncan the Tall. He's a beast. He's tall as any. One of the things I love about Duncan, right? He's not a smart guy. He's not dumb, but he's not smart. He's just good-hearted. He's one of the, and Martin does like good-hearted characters exceptionally well because his world is so dark and they just stand out. And so Duncan stands out brilliantly. He's got this good heart and he's really strong and tall. And so he's a legend. I love him. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm sure it'll be good though. I'm
not like, if there's one thing you could be hopeful for, you'd think it'd be this. I've been wrong before. We'll see.
I'm of the opinion that they have learnt from season 8 how absolutely, because they had something never had before, a worldwide show. It was a full on.
It was huge.
It was huge, and they ruined it. So I feel like that with House of the Dragon and these upcoming shows,
Yes.
they're like, okay, we're not going to ruin this.
House of the Dragon is the evidence that it seems like they are trying to learn from the mistakes of season 8, because House of the Dragon was just great.
Yeah, and they already have the stories written, so they don't have to make anything up.
George is helping him out with it. He's a good writer, and so
If George is on it, I think I trusted more.
I'll give you leeway this time, HBO. But I remember Velma. I took that one to heart.
All right, next one's from Stained Reverend for 10 USD. Evening, lads. What a terrible week we've had to endure. From the funeral trailer of Indy 5 to the Star Wars celebration, burying the concept of good and evil. Will this vandalism ever come to an end?
we'll make our own. Stay tuned for All Star. Name pending.
Name pending. That's the important part of that.
Breezy's Comics and Collectibles for 10 USD. Yay for Dunk and Egg. Love that series and love you, Shad and gang. But I wish George would finish Winds of Winter.
So this is the thing. Is like every property is working on the.
I just want to have it. I just want to have it like a sound clip of Gary. Like,
Yeah, I know.
if you ever-
We can get that now.
See, because I haven't read the books, right? I'm not as hung up on it, and I'm sure I would be if I was.
Yeah.
And so I get all the people about it, but I'm getting Dunk and Egg, baby. So if it's good, I hope it's good.
Well, the thing is, my favorites are Aegon's Conquest and Fire and Blood. Like, to me, it has all the dragons, it has all the stuff I like. So, like, the stuff that I really care about, it's already been written. So I'm just chilling over here. I don't mind too much.
No, you're not too. You won't be sad if he dies before he finishes the book.
Whoa, man, it's a bit dark. So I just wanted to press it once this straight.
What is that one?
Crickets. We've got crickets now, so we're moving a comment of something.
Great, I love it.
We're
Who wanted
testing things today.
Who wants a race sequel?
We didn't mention the race sequence
Oh, God, yeah.
because that is hilarious.
Well, there's not really much to say.
There's not much to say because no one asked for it and said how we're still getting it.
They've literally learned nothing.
Yeah,
It's like you went through all this and learned exactly nothing. So there's nothing to say.
It's like Daisy Ridley, I guess she's had no job work to say she's available.
Well, all the movies she's been in since
So I
have
can't
not worked
blame
out.
her. Yeah, I can't blame her for taking the role because it's money and she hasn't seemed to have got much work elsewhere.
But I feel like also reinforcing that role is the reason why you're not getting much work.
Is she gonna have the same Ray face?
I will say this. I despise the sequels, and I don't want any content even remotely related to it. But if they were insistent on trying to do something, I would much prefer something with Finn.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think everyone is like that.
Like, I don't even want sequel stuff to begin with, but if you have to do it...
You have to. It'll be Finn.
Just give me Finn.
Finn was easily one of the most likable characters. They were building him up, and then it was Last Jedi that just totally screwed him over. And
the fact that they chose to do Rey stuff is like, well, you've learnt exactly nothing.
Nothing.
So.
And it's going to be, when I say as successful, it's like as popular, and that means not very well. Like, it's going to bomb massively.
Yeah,
no one is going to like. Gosh, I can't wait. And while they're doing that, I'll be making All Star. If you want something that feels like Star Wars,
Name pending.
name pending. Seriously, it's lots of fun. Like I was talking about the atmospheric cloth. I well built that in the past few days and got a great explanation. If someone asks about it, I'll tell you about it. We'll continue.
So don't ask about it.
All right, next one is from Teeny Bopper for $5 USD. Nathan, you suave, silky voiced lad. Bedtime story Patreon perk. Winky face. Shad, you rock and have a great crew. Keep up the great work and stay healthy.
Do my best, mate. Health is what it is, but I'd certainly have a great crew.
Bedtime with. Okay, well, what would I read? Like Nani? Oh, actually, we've got a whole bookshelf.
What could you read?
What could I read? Oh, what do I start with?
Get a classic. What is this? Pride and Prejudice? Oh, Little Women. You know, we need to start with
Why
that.
do you give me Little Women?
Little Women.
Moving on.
I'll read the comic books instead. We'll do like a picture story time.
Christmas.
Invincible. Hisses him. Just
Boom, bang.
Won't be Christmas without any presents, grumbled Joe, lying on the rug. It's so dreadful to be poor, sighed Meg, looking down at her old dress. This is that's actually a good solid. No. A good solid start. Jane Eyre. Where's Pride and Prejudice? Pride and Prejudice has one of the greatest beginnings of a story.
Told me to sit and think them over while
Invincible.
she just lost
Compendium
herself
1.
for a moment.
That's good.
She never found herself very soon. So the minute her cat
Boy,
began to...
we really screwed that one up. We?
Hang on. Where's Pride and Prejudice?
Why are these
I love
streams
how this-
always doing this?
Jane Austen is a treasure. And, like, seriously, this opening, like, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
Hey guys, we have a beat
However,
button now, so you want to
little
test
known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering. It's great. It's great.
Oh, you just stopped. Yeah.
Bleep the whole thing. Anyways, thanks for the super chat. I think we all want to read books as a Patreon perk. All right, next one's from Juing Wong for $5 USD. All Star only works if you plan to have an all Smash Mouth soundtrack.
You're an all-star.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Why
your
not
Omniblade
for
on.
$2 USD? But what about dragons?
Good question. Moving on. Well, they're in House of the Dragon. They don't see much in Star Wars.
Next one's from Talking Pop Press.
Good to see you, mate.
10
Thank you.
USD. Hey, homies. For the longest time, I thought the story was about one guy, Dunk and Egg. Then I read it.
Two separate people, Dunk and Egg.
It's called the Henge Night.
This is Dunk, Sir Duncan, and where Egg is, well, in this one it's the bald kid.
Which I think is very fitting.
There.
We have one of them here as well. Nate.
But he's not a kid.
I mean, behind the scenes content.
Online college dropout for 20 USD. Shad, you'd be willing to compare and contrast different armies from Middle Earth from any of the ages, kind of like how you compare and contrast different weapons on Shadiversity. TBH, it would be some cool content.
It's a bit too of much of a deep cut, I think, for Shadiversity. That's like something that a dedicated Lord of the Rings lore channel needs to do.
It's a bit too niche, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool, but again, with Shadiversity, we have to prioritize videos that'll catch a broader audience. And the one coming out tonight, by the way.
Oh, is it tonight? It's coming out.
Yeah.
Because we.
Yeah, but I thought it was Friday US, though.
No,
So
no. That's
Us.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's going to be fire.
Fire. Nice. It's actually a really good video. I don't know what you added to it, so I can't.
Just more slow-mo.
Okay. Is that all you added?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good video.
Who wants more slow-mo? Everyone?
Great songs.
All right, next one's from Hot Grape Studios for 20 USD. I'm a huge fan of your guys' work, and I've especially been a fan of Shad's for a few years now. I too am LDS, creator of a fantasy comic called Blights and Beauties. Feel free to check it out sometime, everyone.
Very interesting. Blights and Beauties. Good on you, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Creating your own content. This is the way.
This is the way. That's what we need to do now.
I feel like we need. I want a Mando helmet, or I want a Mandalorian helmet.
They're not that good. They're actually not. I love them. I love the design.
I got my own helmet. I got a
I
cool
saw them. I was going to buy one of them.
That's a cool helmet.
Yeah.
It's the Barbute, everyone. The one. Look at the logo on the channel, and that's that one.
Yeah.
Next one's from Neen Breaker for £10. I always gotta make sure I say pounds and not euros because that's dangerous. Good day, Knights of the Down Under. I have come to pay tribute.
Well, thank you. Your tribute is accepted and appreciated. Good day to you, sir, from the United Kingdom. We're all a joint, friendly Commonwealth here. I consider us part of the Crown.
Well, I mean, us and the British are actually closer than us and the Americans.
Yeah, I consider Australians British, essentially, and I'm proud of that. Well, I mean, in a lot of us, like my heritage is British, right, and Irish.
Most of us, a lot of us,
Scottish and Welsh, but it's like all there. Okay,
Welsh.
Well.
All right, next super chat.
Oh,
sorry. I always to pause for a moment just to make sure nothing else comes up. Okay, the next one is from Literature Devil for 2 USD.
Dude,
Cursed child Harry is more like Lockhart.
really? Gilderoy Lockhart? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Patrick Bateman did 2 super chats, one for 50 and one for 5.
Wow.
Thank you very much. First one said, impressive. Very nice.
Not sure what that's referring to, but thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad that we are impressive and very nice.
And he also asked, please tell me you guys are going to review the new Literally Me Ryan Gosling movie, Barbie.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Probably. It's for the memes, the fun of it.
Right. Okay.
We should all wear hot pink.
No! There are many things I will do for you, Shad. I'll watch Rings of Power. Going up in pink for Barbie? It's questioning my manhood.
It looks bad. It looks very bad.
I can't tell if it's horror yet. Is it a horror film? I feel like it's a horror film.
It's probably a horror film.
When they're like, hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. It's very unsettling.
Everybody's
it's
NPCs.
very unsettling. I think you're going to feel afraid when watching it.
I hum Aram for 20,000 RP.
I think it's
I think it's
Iram Amin.
Aram Aram.
That's like
We're sorry.
Wait, you're just trying to laugh.
Sorry.
Oh, we're not sorry. Nathan's sorry. He's the one who can't say it.
So-
I can't pronounce something. I just say really quickly. I'm like,
So, what's the Walking Dead guy with the chainsaw on his hand when he goes back in time in medieval world? What is that called? But anyway, he has to get the Necronomicon from the thing, and he has to recite the thing, and he forgets it. So I was like,
that's what I do. For 20,000 reviews. Can I have Nathan's unrelenting rant for Bud Light? No.
We don't have Bud Light. We're Australian.
I don't drink alcohol. I'm a Mormon.
Oh yeah, right. They don't drink. They don't drink alcohol. That's alcohol.
So, like in terms of stereotypes, I don't conform to the classic Aussie stereotype. I don't swear. I don't drink. But anyway, that's just an observation.
it's literally a part of our culture. I was thinking about it the other day because just a little bit of tangent before we get on to the last one. When I was thinking about the behind the scenes content, because me and Nate and even Nathan sometimes, I've been converting him. We swear in like.
No, I do not.
Yes.
Hang on. It depends. There are different standards on swearing, and swearing is actually a more complex kind of thing when you research the history behind it.
Right, but I was thinking like, because it's going to be in the behind the scenes content, we're going to censor it, don't worry. But I was thinking like, people might not truly understand, because it is literally a part of Australian culture when you swear. I learned when I was like 4 years old from my great grandmother how to swear.
There are different things. Like to a lot of people in the US, hell and damn are a swear word, and it's not here for us. Okay, and like so again, we're Mormons, so if you go over to Utah, they don't say those words, but they say certain words over there that people in Australia, Mormons in Australia, are more reluctant to say, like piss.
Yeah, like even retarded is a swear word now.
Yeah, I see that one is not. Like, I will not yield on because it's a very useful word.
Did you get it? Yeah.
That is a very useful. Like that was one of the go-to insults as a kid.
Yeah, I know.
And it never was offensive. It was actually the more polite way of describing mentally people.
Yeah.
But it's also a word that was not related to mental disability. It actually has a useful utility that means held back a or.
Yeah.
Why did you push? I didn't even say anything about it.
It's funny. Well, I don't know if you know, there was a stream with Lance Tech Tips, and it was very awkward because he was like talking about that, and his whole crew were like scared because he didn't say it.
He said, I used to use the hard R in the word, and he was talking about
retard. I got it before you said
he was talking about that, but they thought he was talking about the American N-word. And it was on the stream. Yeah. And it was like, whoa. Everybody was like, what's going on? He used to say it all the time. And it's like,
are we getting cancelled right now?
And LTT is like a huge channel, like 10 million subs, 15 million, whatever it is. And so on a live stream,
80
to be doing that,
employees.
like you were about to sink it. It was huge.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
but for me, it's actually a very descriptive, strong, useful word that the progressive sensitivity, that offended at everything has latched onto. I was like, no, I'm not going to bow down to your oversensitive bullcrap, okay? You need to draw that, because they like to redefine and recontextualize what is offensive and what is not. I mean, heck, just defining a woman in the traditional way is enough to get people...
Well, it is. It usually is about
insane.
context. Like for Australians, is one of our like...
That's a big one for a US. That's that's worse than the F word.
But for us, it's like
at a pub or bar, you'll hear it.
You hear it constantly.
Well, people like Aussies will call friends that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, because
You're a good Christian.
Un-Australian.
How are you? Yeah.
It's the mating call of Australia.
What's really offensive is calling someone champ. Or buddy.
This is just a you thing. This is just
nah, man. I tell you what, when someone says, "How you going, champ?"
How you going, champ? Are you right, buddy? I call kids.
That's what
buddy.
coaches.
I guess it might be by context, but I've never but I could say if you it's like when someone's trying to be condescending, it's like, yeah, sure thing, boss. It's in the same way.
It's just funny because you call Shad boss
all the time.
When he first started.
He's never said it in that way, though.
It's always been let's go, boss. Let's go, boss. That was a good tangent.
Yes, that was fun.
Okay.
Swearing, very Australian.
Next one is from
Valindian.
Valindian for 20 USD about All Star.
In caps.
About All Star, because that's how you write in caps. Tyranth.
It's still early. No?
Okay, sorry. The atmosphere generating material you mentioned could work on planets for everyone, but only in open space for those who can use the all power. Also, spacesuits aligned with the material as an oxygen source.
Okay.
Good job.
To fill you in, it's actually a combination of two technologies. One is a pressure kind of sphere that's related to their shielding technology, but works on a much lower level, and so it maintains pressure and stops gas from crossing the barrier unless you come across some really, really strong wind. Then that can pass through the barrier. But you can have more powerful ones that actually prevent even strong wind and therefore can survive in the vacuum of space even a bit better. But that is only part of the technology, because the other is the atmospheric cloth. The atmospheric cloth works by using quality of the all power. So the all power can be converted to any energy type. But when you funnel a certain gas type through all power itself, that gas starts to adopt some of the all power qualities, trying to adapt to other materials. And so when you have that, and then you put in oxygen into a mix of the all power, and then funnel in other gas through it, and naturally starts to convert that gas into a breathable oxygen. But to do it into a higher ability, it needs to have greater surface area. And so they funnel it's converted all power, gaseous mix, the really fine strains into a cloth, and then that cloth has greater surface area that has contact with the air around it, which then starts to convert that air into the gas that you put in. If you put in breathable atmosphere, it makes it starts to convert that atmosphere into a breathable air. You combine it with the pressure differential, and you have atmospheric cloth, and there you go.
Get all that?
I recently well built it. It works.
Did you get all that? Did you get all that, Nathan? Okay, so we're all on the same page then. Good.
I got you covered though.
Next one is from Patrick Bateman for 10 USD. Question for each of you: top 5 favorite mangas, animes. Mine is Berserk, Fist of the North Star,
Ooh, that's
Yu
an old goodie.
Asuko, DBZ, and Berserk.
So
Well, you can't say Dragon Ball. You know what DB means? No, I don't know. Dragon Ball.
So people mentioning in chat, because they're just catching up to my world-building discourse right there.
Yeah.
When you describe it in the story, it'll be in a more engaging way that's easy to understand. I was purposely going ham with it. But, okay, so what, top 5 anime?
Yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin is easily my favorite. Cowboy Bebop, phenomenal. Dragon Ball Z is just like fave. I love Dragon Ball Z. My Hero Academia is actually really good. That's up there now.
Yes. But the first 2 seasons. Have I ever told you about my experience with
No, you haven't.
The first 2 seasons I despise. Is it the first 2 seasons? Or once they finish the tournament arc, or when they're fighting each other, and Deku's no longer a little crybaby girl. When he starts to be like a normal human being, it gets good. And everything past that, I'm like, this is fantastic. But when he cries at every scene,
I think I like it. And one of the things that I love about My Hero Academia, it actually captures the concept of the superhero, the self-sacrificing nobility of the superhero role. And this person wants to do it to aspire to help others. Like, it's great, and my kids love it. And
it's fantastic past season 3.
And number 5 would have to be Ava, just for nostalgia. Neon Genesis Evangelion. It was like, gosh, I could go back. There was earlier anime that I watched that I didn't really know. Oh, man, Technoman Blade. I have to substitute one of those. Maybe Technoman. So technically the first anime that I just got crazy into was an English dub of an anime called Technoman Blade. And it was and they dubbed it to Technoman, and they took a lot of liberties in the dub to make him like, he's a superhero. He turns into the incredible superhero Technoman. But they also actually made it more action-oriented, where they got like him fighting like some of the same bugs in later seasons with bigger action and spliced into other things. They took out the nudity to make it kid-friendly. Because I was surprised when I got the Japanese version, I'll tell you that. Do you want to know a story? Oh, man. So, Technoman, loved it as a kid. And so I was visiting my cousins, and they lived near a store that sold anime. And so I went to it.
Anime or hentai? Which one?
Sometimes the line is blurry with
there
anime.
is no line. They're the same.
And I saw that there was a sequel series to Technoman. And I was like, I lost one. So I bought it on VHS, and I went back home to my cousins, which have younger kids in. Chuck the VHS in. It's all going good. It's all going good. It's all good. And then comes the transformation scene. And there's more females who have this power in the transformation scene. And their clothes rip off when they did it. I was like...
So Japan is good for doing sequels. I've got a really good one you might like. I mean, there's this one. You like Iron Man, right? There's this Ironheart one. I can hook you up with that one.
Screw you. I know exactly. But holy crap. And so that was a bit of a shock. The sequel turned out had a lot more of that stuff than the main series. The main series only has one real scene when his sister comes onto the thing, because when he transforms, he like, it's the whole thing where, he doesn't have clothes on, but they shade out anything. You don't see anything. It's more heroic, where he just goes, techno power, and he transforms. But holy crap, I just got so sunk into that as a kid. Because it was on a TV show called Cheese TV back in the day. It was one of the first cartoons they did. It was the English dub of it. And the other stuff that was kind of being shown regular was like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo has really basic animation where it's usually just like almost 2D.
But it's fantastic though. It's so
I never got into it.
I love it.
But Techno Man has some crazy good animation in the really pivotal moments. And I could not believe that this was drawn by people. And this is actually one of the things that inspired me to try and learn how to draw because it looked so friggin' cool. And so Techno Man, I just adored. And so that has to be in there. Yeah. So that would be my 5.
I'm curious, in that, when you were watching that anime, the Japanese one, was one of the lines, Yamate kudasai. Was that one of the lines, Shad? I just need to know what type of context.
I never knew that sound could come out of you.
I know. I am more interested in this hidden side of your.
Are you a voice actor?
It's hard.
Do you do that?
It's hard for me to get that high with my voice. To be honest.
Okay, cool.
I'm just interested that you are so exposed to anime to know and do that line so well.
I have entire libraries of anime. Now, if I was to do a list, I'd probably have to next stream. I will because I have so many. I've got to actually go through.
But anime lines I do like. Amakaku no ryu no hirameki. That's the ultimate attack that Rurouni Kenshin does.
Super Saiyajin God.
And I mean, you pick up random words all the time, but if you watch anime like wakata and but yeah, one of the other attacks like Kenshin does, like the Ryokuzen.
Anata skimono desu ne.
Hita na mitsurugi.
Ara.
Anything that you could mention, Nathan? Sword Art Online. Not actually. That's not top 5. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Those be fighting.
Yeah, I know. I want to see your reaction in playback now. More recent stuff, remember watching Parasite. The first season of that was really good.
Right.
Going back though, like I just liked, Pokemon, Astro Boy.
Yes, Astro Boy was on TV, and I did really like Astro Boy.
Some classic good anime.
When we say anime,
do you ever guys got old school?
I never watched that.
I did.
Yeah, wasn't really into it. But anyway,
I like it.
When I talk about anime, I'm talking specifically Japanese anime rather than like Western anime because there's a lot of I have to differentiate.
Yeah,
my
I
brain
agree.
has to categorize because it's different to me. Yeah. But was that the last one?
There was one more, I think. Yes, this one here. Shake from Hunger Team for $5 USD. Shad, what are your thoughts on
Farscape.
Heard
a lot about it. Haven't seen it. It gets a good review from a lot of people as a good classic one. Haven't watched it. Stargate is kind of my, in that kind of, from that time. I think it was made around the same time because I know that the lead comes over into Stargate as well as one of the other actresses. But
that
Stargate SG-1.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Go super chat from Quartermaster 2014 for $5 USD who said, Tyranth, my dude, with hot, sweaty emoji faces.
I am uncomfortable right now.
You did it to yourself, man. Alrighty, guys, thank you for joining us on our weekly live stream. And even though the days change up, we'll get it to you weekly. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. And as always, stay on watch.